Hey Melissa.
Hi.
Hey everyone.
Hello, Jitendra. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So let's start the session, and I think we can start with the introduction. Melissa, if you can give the audience your introduction, and then you can.
Yeah, Melissa, you gonna start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Melissa Shepard. I am a Salesforce certified technical architect out of Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a MuleSoft ambassador. I have 35 certifications. I run an architect user group locally. I'm also the founder and admin of the Architect Ohana Slack. And I help co-organize Architect Dreamin' as well as Northeast Dreamin'.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. So, hey everyone, my name is Jitendra. I'm based off Atlanta, associate partner in IBM, also certified technical architect, 9 times MVP, and author of a developer book, which is a design pattern. And glad to be here.
Thank you so much, both of you, for the introductions. So my first question would be, what inspired you to pursue the career as Salesforce architect, and how did you basically get started in this field, and what motivated you?
Yeah. Melissa?
Sure, I'll go. I actually started doing Salesforce architecture in 2006, back when I was introduced to Salesforce. And I was always doing some sort of architecture before that, but also development. So I my company became a partner, my own company, in 2016, and I decided to just keep sticking with the architect path so I could do more advisory and strategic work as a partner. So I got my platform developer 1 certification, and then in 2018 did all the prereqs for CTA, and then went on to pass the CTA in 2021. So it's just an area I've always been interested in as a developer. I always wanted to be more high level, more strategic, not just writing the code and doing small tasks. So that's how I ended up on the architect path. Jitendra?
Yeah, sure. So I started as a J2 EE developer, J2ME, writing a code in the mobile way back in 2007-6. And around 2008, I got introduced to Salesforce as a part of integration. So I never logged into Salesforce. I was an integration developer in the J2 EE. 2011 was the year when I moved to Salesforce. And around in 2014, Salesforce only had a 7 certification. I had all. I had a 6 certification. The only certification I didn't had was a CTA. So that was very natural for me to go for that. But again, definitely by the time I got a CTA certification, there are 80 more right now.
Great. So my next question would be, so like, if I want to be an architect, what kind of skills I should have, and what kind of skills I should develop as for an architect role?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, or
Um,
anyone can start.
yeah, I'll go. So the type of skills I always recommend people starting to develop are the non-technical skills, because you can have all the technical skills and the technical knowledge, but if you don't have those non-technical skills, things like the people skills and being able to communicate and draw diagrams and being able to understand technology, but help other people that are very much non-technical understand the concepts and what's going on, it's going to be a lot harder because you do have to work with people, you have to communicate, you have to understand a lot of concepts and be able to break them down for others to help them understand. And I started being able to do that through doing presentations and also doing process mapping. That helped me to understand some of these business processes. So also understanding business and business process and a lot of the different use cases you would use within business.
Yeah. Thanks, Melissa. I definitely like what you said. So similar to what Melissa says, right? And again, I learned these skills hard way. So I think the most important skill for anyone to become a good architect is number one, I will say, is a soft skill. uh, Able to communicate your idea to your stakeholder is the most important skill, and I think most of the people doesn't have it, coming from the developer background, at least that I can relate with. And also, given any challenge, any solution that you have to do, right, first thing what I would recommend is think about the long term impact, ROI. It should not be okay, always Salesforce and always coding is not an answer, right? I mean, Salesforce is a great platform, but not necessarily that Salesforce is great for everything. So I think being an architect, you should definitely need to know a little bit more products than Salesforce, some more capability, maybe like AWS, maybe MuleSoft, those kind of the stuff, so that you will have a bigger picture. Because knowing only Salesforce is kind of limiting you just to think in that box. You're not able to think outside. What is the art of the possibilities here? uh, Keep yourself always on the shoes of the stakeholder and the client to whom you're talking. What exactly they want? Just writing a code, writing a flow, and building some objects and integration not gonna work, right? What exactly they want to do? And what I have seen in many cases, right, that customer don't know what they want. They say, "Hey, go ahead, start with something." But when I ask bigger question, we may completely go on the different route, or we never go to that route, saying that, "Hey, you already have the capability." Because adoption is the one thing, few capabilities are already on the platform. It's just that you have to educate to your stakeholder. So I will say being an architect is all about soft communication and thinking bigger picture.
Thank you. I think the next question that I have in my mind is like during your journey, during your work experience, what are the challenges and the problem you have faced that basically skilled you up uh, and basically enhance your learnings? So if you can share any example during your journey,
Yeah, Melissa, you wanna go first?
any difficult project that you
Melissa,
got
on
and
mute.
okay.
Oh, difficult project. Okay, so I yeah, when I started, I was building integration middleware that really introduced me to a lot of the integration concepts. Um, yeah, it's hard because I've done a lot of independent work. I haven't worked for a big partner like Jitendra has. So it's a little bit harder to get more exposure to enterprise projects. And I think what you really need to do is have that enterprise exposure. Um, I did get to do something that was kind of cool for a really big e-commerce company, one of the first companies out there during the .com era, and helped with bringing them onto Service Cloud. And that really was it. Really was more of like that was where I really saw the softer skills needing to be important because it was really more like dealing with people and getting people to understand and change their way of thinking um, and getting them to understand more the capabilities of Salesforce when they're coming off of um, a legacy application and really just understanding how um, the platform could work for them. So that I mean, I would say that's kind of the difficulty of the projects I've encountered. I also encountered another one. I think it's the ones where getting them off of legacy applications or in-house or custom applications have been the hardest, and getting them to understand how the capabilities of Salesforce can help them and their users, and then educating them to say, hey, they might want to do things one way, but being a Salesforce expert, you know that that's not the best way to do something on the platform. So you have to push back, you have to educate them, you have to help them understand, how the platform works, and that doing something a different way is going to be less risk and less technical debt and more time to value because the users are going to be using the functionality quicker. Those are the toughest projects.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Melissa. So, first of all, right, what I would like to say is one thing that teaches this whole CTA journey is really the way to put your point of view in front of people like-minded you, and everybody have their own opinion. So, how to really win that battle, or at least how to find a common ground, right? That is really what I think the CTA journey teaches you, because eventually you have to convince three judges to your solution, right? Then only you will get to the other side. So I think definitely that is the best part of pursuing the CTA journey. Now coming back to the challenges that I face normally in my project. So the project that I have been handling from the last 3 years, like it's a huge project, like 40 plus developer teams, 100 plus team members, including BA, Scrum Master, developers, architects. At any given time in my project, we have like 6, 7 architects. So really, the challenging part when you have a team big like that, and only I'm just talking about from IBM point of view, but then let's say from the client side also, equivalent team members would be there, IT stakeholders would be there, and what becomes challenging is really navigating the discussions, convincing them, hey, this is the right architecture or not, it is going to scale or not, and really being heard in a room. I have seen red projects, definitely. The picture is not always rosy, but the reason any project goes red or not in a good condition is not because of the technical reason. It's mostly because of the clear vision. Or like the teams, like 100 team members, they don't know what they are doing. They don't have a bigger vision. They are just thinking by this week I have to do this. But going beyond week, going beyond sprint, beyond PI planning, right? I think that's exactly the challenge, is getting everybody together to have the same vision, same understanding. I think that is the biggest challenge that I see in my projects.
Thank you. I think that clarifies a lot. My next question would be, so being an architect, what kind of best practices I should follow? If you can just give us, let's say, three best practices that needs to be followed as an architect on a project, what can they be?
Yeah.
I'll go. So one of I would say the first thing is when designing solutions, you always want to try to choose things that will take less time to um, market, like time to value, like, using something that's pre-built or an app exchange app over going custom. So really, like the clicks versus code, you really want to go more with declarative things that are already built, as much as possible, that are going to meet your needs. So that's really one of the first principles I try to follow. Another thing is document and diagram. If there's no documentation or no diagrams as you go along, then it's going to be hard for anyone else to understand what the vision of the project is or how things work technically. So really that documentation aspect, and also having some sort of governance and process. So um, I would always have that set up at the beginning. Yeah, so like for developers or whatever, you always want to have some process and governance set up and identified, and that process in place.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. I think it matches, right, what Melissa said for me as well. So when when I start with any project, the most important thing is really the traceability matrix. Having some kind of the ALM tool which have very clear epic. That means epic user stories, feature very well written, that what needs to be done, completely definition of ready, so that the admin or the developer can start cranking on it. So that's extremely number one thing. Now, second is I'm a developer by trade. I still write a code, but for me the best code is no code. If there is any way Salesforce project can go with using Omni Studio, I like Flow, but I like Omni Studio more, and Omni Studio is coming as an add-on. So I would recommend every architect and the developer to go and get yourself understanding of what is data raptor, flex cards, IP, because that is the future I see. That's the next step after Flow that I'm seeing here. So Flow, Omni Studio, you need to know about that. And I have read a book named Weekend Language. And what normally that book talks about is, like in Amazon, Jeff Bezos meeting, no PowerPoint, just discussion. Now, unfortunately, in our area, that doesn't work. If you go in the 30-minute meeting and 1 hour meeting and you're an architect and you're just talking, it's not gonna make sense. The human uh, attention span, like within a like 7 or 8 minutes, your stakeholder would lose a track. So really take the help of visualization, either lucid chart or PowerPoint. So any meeting, any architect or BA, they are going, and if the end user and the business is a part of that meeting, that's the biggest challenge I see these days. Architects goes unprepared in that meeting, and then after architects complain that, hey, we were not able to make a decision, and what we were planning to do with the meeting doesn't work out. So really important part is have a visual there, so that business stakeholder can really understand, because it's a virtual world, right? If it's, even if you are in person, take the help of the whiteboard, right? So that would be my recommendation: traceability metrics, no code, and visualization.
Great tips. Thank you so much, Jitendra. I think we have questions from the audience.
Thank you, Badar. So, to build on Badar's question, uh, as an architect, what should one consider when designing any integration solution?
So really consider your data volumes. So that's really going to push you towards different kinds of patterns, where there's going to be some sort of batch pattern, or if you're going to use something like the bulk API, or if you're going to go more real time. So really, data volumes is important. Understanding how much data you're going to be sharing and passing back and forth, and whether or not that data needs to be used within a process right away. So really trying to go towards something that's more asynchronous versus synchronous. You really only want to go synchronous when absolutely possible. That's the one thing I would say is my biggest tip for integrations.
Yeah, I like that, Melissa. And just to add on that one, right? Another important part is, what do you want to do? Do you want to see the data virtually, or do you want to bring the data into the system? To like Melissa's point, large data volume. The first thing when integration comes into your picture is traffic and volume. So double down on those two dimensions, and you will automatically come to know that what is the best. When there are multiple best design patterns available, integration patterns available, that we can follow on.
And just last question. So, what advice you would give to the individuals who are considering their career as Salesforce architect and want to take their first steps in this direction? Any basic tips?
Melissa?
Yeah, just start understanding what it is an architect does, and going out there and finding some people that are architects that have blogs and have resources out there. Like I have the Architect Ohana Slack, Jitendra has his blog and all his resources that are great. I personally used them when I was studying repairing, and we've also helped each other. And finding other people that you can study with and work with, which is easy to do if you join the Architect Ohana Slack. Jitendra and I actually studied together during our CTA journeys. Just finding people that you can study with and learn from, and there's also a program that I've launched this year that helps. There's only certain people that qualify: underserved, underrepresented. Helps them start to learn architecture and start to follow that architect path. And also, I'm a Ladies Be Architects ambassador, and we are gonna launch a mentorship program coming soon. We don't have the final details on it yet, so that would be another avenue to find some mentorship and some help with your career journey as an architect.
Fantastic. Thanks, Melissa. 100% right. Melissa has a great group, Slack group, Architect Nohana, that helps everybody. So I would definitely recommend anybody pursuing for architect career, not only the CTA, you should definitely look for that. Now, from my side, right, my recommendation to anybody who is planning to go an architect, and I said previously as well, it's all about the bigger picture. You are going to solve a business problem, real challenge. You're not going to simply write one lightning web component or one flow. So think about that, and be aware what is going on outside Salesforce in terms of the technology, right? Uh, I will say, for an example, RPA, AI, system designs, right? Go and listen to those YouTube channels, read those blogs. That would open up your mind. So, for an example, how the Netflix works, how ESPN works, right? How YouTube works, how the system behind them designed. Even though it's not a Salesforce, it would really open up your point of view that okay, how these like Airbnb, like how these real websites architected behind the scenes. Is it a microservices based? So you should definitely know about that. Salesforce is not any. There is no Salesforce I have seen in the last 5 years where the whole system sits on Salesforce. There is always legacy system. There is always systems around it. There is always integration. So definitely you need to know about that. And the last thing, contribute, share. The more you share with the community, the more you will get back. So if I'm taking few things back from this and the kind of the question that I'm hearing now, I'm understanding, okay, what is the point of view that upcoming architects have. So when you start sharing and public group meets, it will open up your vision that, okay, what the challenges other side is having versus how you're gonna solve to the client side. So that would be my recommendation.
And that's lovely. Thank you so much for the great tips for the individuals that are basically pursuing their career in the architect role. And I think they will love it, like whatever tips you have given to them. And I just want to end this session. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Jitendra, for sharing your experiences, your journey with the team, with the audience. And I think they have taken some learning moments from here.
Thank you so much, Babar. Thanks everyone. Have a nice dreaming.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Everyone.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you,
Have a good
Jitendra.
rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.